I'd like to welcome everybody to the December 17th meeting of the Wayne City Council. If I could have everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mayor Pro Tem Porter.
Here.
Councilman Miller.
Present.
Councilman Webster.
Here.
Councilwoman Skiff.
Here.
Councilman Wagner is very ill and won't be with us this evening. Councilman Dowd.
Here.
Mayor Racy.
Here.
Quorum is present. First item on the agenda, number 1, approve agenda. No, I apologize. Administration of oath. The mayor will be swearing in a new police officer, Kent Woody.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States,
The Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and the Charter and ordinance of the City of Wayne,
and the Charter and the ordinance of the City of Wayne,
and that I will faithfully perform my duties
and that I will faithfully perform my duties of
police officer
police officer
in and for the City of Wayne
in and for the City of Wayne
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Good step for a young man.
You know, when you're getting old, he looks younger than my grandson.
I know it.
I know.
So I pushed it for you. You're safe now. As we get older, they can get I think I'm a tax holder. Who? I'm a tax holder.
It's always a great time when we can swear in another police officer. It's something that I think everybody wants to see happen in our community. So thank you, Chief. Keep them coming. That's awesome, thank you. And I also want to make a little disclaimer. Our clerk is out sick tonight. Our deputy clerk is out sick, so our economic development person / everything else, Lori is stepping in and pinch hitting for us as the clerk tonight, so thank you.
Ready to move the agenda, Mayor? Item 1, approval of the agenda.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 2, approval of the regular meeting minutes of December 3rd, 2019.
Move to approve. Support Dowd.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 3, closed session. The council will adjourn to a closed session to discuss the legal written opinion of counsel pursuant to MCL 15.268H. Need a motion.
Okay. Can I get a motion? We're just going to do that.
Motion to go to closed session. to,
Support.
Discuss a legal opinion from their attorney.
Okay. Can we get a roll call for that?
Absolutely.
Give support.
Yes.
I support.
Right here. Mayor Pro Tem Porter,
Yes.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Webster,
Yes.
Councilwoman Skiff,
Yes.
Councilman Wagner is absent, Councilwoman Dowd. I'm sorry,
Yes.
Councilman Dowd, I am really sorry. Hey, you're supposed to cut me some slack. Mayor Racy. Mayor
Yes.
Racy. Mayor Racy.
Yes.
It is 8:09, and we are officially adjourned to closed session.
Can I get a motion to close the closed session?
Motion to close the closed session.
Support.
Second,
Okay. You got all that?
everybody.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Apologize, Mayor. Next item, item 4, presentations, Downtown Development Authority informational presentation. And if it's okay with the council, I'm going to just stay right here. This evening, this is the second presentation, and I will be a little bit more brief. I won't add as many comments as I did last time, since I was very thorough. But it's required that the Downtown Development Authority do 2 informational meetings a year, and that's what I'm going to do this evening. If we look at the slides, the DDA partnered with Main Street for several different events throughout the year, one of which was the Scarecrow Contest. We also partnered with Main Street for the Downtown Days event, which was held in August. And when I say partner, the DDA provides resources to the Main Street program so they can advertise these events with the goal of drawing more people into our downtown. We also sponsored Toast Wayne, an event that's held every year. We partner, as all of you may know, with the Rotary, and probably the most successful events we have in our community are the concerts in the park every summer. Thousands of people attend those events, and the DDA is very proud and will be sponsoring those again next year. Just recently, last couple of weeks, we kicked off our holiday campaign. Main Street runs that for us. We do fund a portion of that. We had Small Business Saturday at Karma Coffee. Numerous gift cards were given away, and individuals were encouraged to shop in the city of Wayne. We've had numerous businesses that have opened in the city this year, have filed zoning compliance applications. You can see the list there. This is available on the city website under the DDA page if you'd like to look at it. Just some of the accomplishments. The DDA met with the Wayne County Public Service Department to discuss a potential pedestrian crossing and traffic calming measures, Wayne Road between Michigan Avenue and Glenwood. That's something we'll be including in our master plan. We participated in a strategic planning session for the redo of the master plan with the Planning Commission. We welcomed several new businesses by holding ribbon cuttings. And we also completed all of our reporting requirements by PA 57 of 2018. And just a few improvements that were made. All the trees were trimmed along westbound Michigan Avenue. Removed trees blocking storefronts along Michigan Avenue and Wayne Road, specifically in front of Bender's, US 12, and Nemo's, and also the bookstore on Michigan Avenue. And I cannot tell you all how ecstatic those business owners are that they now have visibility. We restriped all the public parking lots within the city, cleaned and remulched the beds next to the court behind Leo's. We removed and replaced all the plantings in the beds on Wayne Road from Sims to Glenwood, which they were in desperate need of help. Trimmed bushes, remulched the surrounding area of the Peace Memorial. We also restored the Peace Memorial, which was a very large expense. Some of our goals for 2020. We are going to continue our landscape improvements along westbound Michigan Avenue. We will be promoting our new facade improvement program where the DDA partners with businesses, pays up to $10,000 or half of their project cost for new facade improvements. We're looking at adding dumpster enclosures to all the public lots to get away from the brown cans. They're very unsightly. And then one of the biggest undertakings, the DDA is going to start working on redoing their master plan. It's been quite a few years since they've done that. We're going to do that in conjunction with the redo of the master plan. So this will actually be the DDA work plan. And the last item I have to announce is we met with Wayne County Community College District's new president, and we're looking at, this is something that will be coming in the near future, partnering with them as well as Main Street, the Rotary and Chamber, to develop a small business program, something similar to that of Launch Detroit. And that's it. I can take any questions. This really is just an informational meeting, but I would encourage you to look at the report online and address any questions you have to me via email, or I will take a call from anyone. Thank you, Mayor.
You have anything from council? Lori, I just wanted to say the the streetlights that are on Wayne Road that were done this year. I think that looks really nice. I mean, it's a start to try to start lighting up the downtown again, and I think that was a good thing that the DDA did with that too.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll pass that along. Next item, public hearings. This is a public hearing to consider establishing a commercial rehabilitation district for the property known as 31720 Van Born. If you could just give me 1 second.
Okay, can I get a motion to open?
Motion to open the public hearing?
Support, Dowd.
Okay. Public hearing's open. Anybody in the audience for the public hearing? Yes, please.
Yeah, if I could, Mayor. Kristen Fiore from North Empire is here with us this evening. Kristen is going to share the proposed plans for the site.
Good evening, everyone. I actually work for the company North Empire. It's a property management company based out of New York, and we own building at 31720 Van Born. Currently, it is vacant. We're looking to see if we can get a rehabilitation on the commercial rehab division. We would like to build a upscale apartment complex that'll consist of 87 units. They will be 1 and 2 bedrooms. It will provide jobs, be full-time, and after the renovations are done in March of 2020 is what we were expecting. It'll provide full-time jobs for lasting employees, up to 10 to 20 of them, and there'll be obviously hundreds of trades that we'll use local for the building, landscaping, and maintaining. And that will be 87 homes.
Kristen, can you please give the investment amount?
The investment amount is $7.3 million, up to $10 million at this point until we decide full, the furnishes of lighting fixtures.
Anything else?
That is it.
Okay. Ms. Pride?
Where is this exactly located on Van Born Road?
This is the former Willow Creek Assisted Living Facility right next to the church there at the corner of Van Born and Merriman.
Over by CVS?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Good evening, Mayor. Of course, you guys know my name already, but I'll say it anyway. My name's Daniel Valdez. I'm the Senior Vice Commander, Post 251, and I live in Wayne, 3850 Gloria in Wayne. I'm here basically to apologize. Apparently, some people didn't like.
You can't, that's it later in the meeting. This is a public hearing just on this
Oh, just
particular
public
item.
hearing?
Yeah,
Oh.
there'll be a time when I call
Okay.
residents up, sorry. Anybody else? Okay. All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mayor, do we need to make a motion to close first?
Well, I mean, they made it open, so just
Make a motion to
make a motion to close it? Okay, that's fine.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing's closed.
Next item, item 6, bid awards. This is the approval of a bid award through Stantec Engineering to provide the installation of a new control system at the police station to be paid for by grant funding. Approval is subject to a written contract acceptable to both the city and the vendor. The bidders, if I could read those, please. Fantasi and Con Company, Ferndale, Michigan, $79,500. Erie Welding and Mechanical, Erie, Michigan, $100,283.
Move to approve.
Support.
What are you?
Move to approve Fontaine and Kane Company, Ferndale, Michigan, for $79,500.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item, item 7A, Revenue and Expenditure Report for period ending November 2019.
Receive and file.
Item 7B, thank you card sent to the Wayne Police Department. Wish of council?
Could you go ahead and read those to us?
Sure.
Thank you.
Officer Jolly received a Christmas card. They didn't put the name on there, just basically thanking him for keeping our community safe and letting him know how much he's appreciated and his kindness. We've got a thank you card here for Officer Preby. I wanted to thank you and your partner for your kindness. Thank you for staying with me while I made my phone calls and until someone came. You both gave me the strength to make those phone calls and to go on. You both are what is good in this world. Sincerely, author unknown.
And those were blacked out just because of.
Privacy reasons, correct.
Exactly. Thank you.
Sorry, Mayor, I lost my
problem.
agenda. Next item. Item 8, general items. A, adoption of resolution approving the establishment of a commercial rehabilitation district for the property known as 31720 Van Born.
Move to approve. Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item, item 8B. This is a resolution to approve the support, a resolution in support of the investment due to be made on the very near future by Ford Motor Company.
Move to approve.
Support. Dowd.
Any questions from council? Do you have anything you want to say on this, Lori?
I'm sure most of you saw the news this evening. This is very exciting. The $765 million, 2,700 jobs here right in the city of Wayne, as well as the modification center for autonomous vehicles. So this is great news for our city. And like I said, we got a lot of attention today from channels 2, 4, and 7. And just want to say thank you to our local 900 partners and to Ford Motor Company for their investment in our community.
I agree. I echo that. I'm glad we're doing this, and this is definitely a good thing for our community, moving the community forward long-term. So I'm looking forward to their investment. Thank you. Go ahead.
General items for consideration, 8C, approval of a letter of agreement with Wayne Professional Firefighters Association for personal business leave payouts for fiscal year 2019 through 2020.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
before we move on to 8C, did I miss a vote on 8B?
Did we vote? Oh, we didn't vote? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mike.
Mayor, I read item 8C. Is there a presentation, city manager, or
Not unless there's questions.
motion?
Do we have any questions on this?
We have a motion on it?
Not yet.
Move to approve.
Support.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 8D, approval letter of agreement with the Wayne Professional Firefighters Association for annual leave payout for calendar year 2020.
Motion to approve. Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 9, administrative reports.
Through the chair.
Yes.
If I may, there's a couple of things I want to address tonight. First, I just want to tell everybody that, thank you, the council, for approving the IT assessment. I know there was some pushback on the importance of that, but because we did that assessment and because the participation from the staff was so good and the feedback that we received was excellent, there was a lot of work put into this and the cybersecurity assessment. I submitted today a grant to the state under the financially distressed communities for $296,000 in upgrades for information technology for this city. What's important about that number is that it clearly shows just how outdated our technology is. I'm not talking about desktops, I'm not talking about computers. I'm talking about our firewall, I'm talking about our network, I'm talking about our fiber, I'm talking about our phone system needs to be in compliance with 911 per state law in 2021, which is about $74,500 alone. I'm talking about everything from front to back. The other thing is that if we were to receive this grant, every piece plays a part in the success of the next level of what we're able to do. Inefficiencies due to the level of staffing that we have, which is still quite low and made up of part-time, if we were to implement all of these things that we're doing, digitizing, having an ability to have, information right at the employee's hands versus going and searching all over God's creation for it, it's about a little over $500,000 savings every year in employee costs and time. So that equates over $5 million, or to $2.9 million over a period of 5 years in just employee time alone. And I think the employees can certainly stress how difficult it is to find information in this city because we have information not digitized, it's everywhere. It's in the cages, it's in another building, it's all over. And that's not convenient because they spend more time, and I think that we could spend more time answering phones, being able to answer questions, and being more proactive. So I'm really excited about this grant, and it'll probably take 3 or 4 months for them to issue it, but we did successfully get it in today. So I want to thank Jeff Martin, Elise Leslie, who played a role, all of the employees. Council, thank you for filling out the surveys. And Plant Moran for all of their help as well. I think that the city is definitely on the right track should we be able to implement these IT upgrades. So that's good news. I want to clarify something, just because there's been some information out there again about the Peace Memorial, the Veterans Memorial, and the project. And I'm not going to make this a negative thing because it's actually a very positive project that's come out of this. I just want to go over one more time how this Veterans Memorial Project just on the south side of City Hall came to fruition. And some of the council members up here can attest to this through reports and through information that I've been sharing over the last couple of years. Back in 2016 and 17, the initial focus was to fix the Peace Memorial because the Peace Memorial, as you know, was in bad shape. The problem that we ran into was that it was too costly and we did not have the money to demolish it. It technically should be demolished. It's in that bad of shape. It was not maintained. That's a sad fact, and it's unfortunate. But of course, it would costed, hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. That wasn't an option. So initially, the group got together and we talked about, the city's staff actually got together and talked about the Peace Memorial and what we were going to do with it. So what we talked about was fundraising for the Peace Memorial. We brought in veterans groups, a large number of veterans groups, a large veterans group in 2017. And it was made clear to myself and others in that room that that Peace Memorial, and this was the words of our veterans, was not a true Veterans Memorial. I didn't know that. I didn't believe that, to be honest. I really thought that it was a true Veterans Memorial. First time I'd heard that. Went back and researched all the information. We still have the files. And they were correct in some respects. Basically, I mean, yes, it is to honor, but it honors peace in the world. It honors the ending of wars. It honors the soldiers that came home. I mean, you could look at it 10 different ways, but these veterans were right when they said it never really was actually made a true Veterans Memorial. The other thing that was brought up was the access points. They said that for people who are in wheelchairs, people who are on crutches, people who are disabled, people who have oxygen tanks, coming from the parking structure, which is really your only option other than parking at the Chase Bank lot, was very difficult for people to make it over there. People who are not able-bodied. That's a very long stretch to walk, especially year-round. That memorial is not available to people year-round who do not have the ability to move. So that was another thing that was brought to the attention. I didn't think about that. I had an uncle who absolutely could not even get out of his car. He was on oxygen. He was very ill. I thought about him in this, and the fact that him trying to make his way from the parking structure down to the Veterans Memorial, or the Peace Memorial, he wouldn't have been able to do it, ever, not even in the summer months. So we circled back with the veterans and said, look, we've put some time into this, and we want to create a true Veterans Memorial. We're not going to negate the Peace Memorial. We have to figure out what we're going to do with that because it still is a very important monument in the city, but we do want to honor your wishes and make a true Veterans Memorial. So we talked about the property that is just on the south side of City Hall, right off of Wayne Road. They were ecstatic about it. In fact, they were ready to fundraise that day. And we did start to receive checks almost immediately from these different veterans. and from Ford Motor Company and others, and Local 900. And I think, Mr. Porter, you were part of that as well, sir. So and I'm sorry to go on, but this is very important. So basically, what ended up happening is we've been working on that wish, and we've been working very hard. There's been a large group of people fundraising, sending out communications. We've written over 200 donation letters. We've been getting donations back. And even a veterans group in Plymouth is going to be giving us money for this Veterans Memorial because they're so excited about the project. So since that time, UAW Local 845, yes, thank you, Lori, I'm sorry. 845 was moving into the city, and they were coming from Canton, and they had a Veterans Memorial at their facility there. They offered their monuments to the city, which outline, they don't say UAW on them, they just outline the armed services. They're beautiful monuments. They're incredible. They're in such great shape. I think they've been there for over a decade, and they're gorgeous. Heck yeah, we're gonna take that. That saves us a lot of money in our fundraising efforts. So those pieces are going to be incorporated into this memorial. And not to mention that the group from that local is also helping us with fundraising efforts as well. So that was great. That's a huge savings where we can now spend more money in another area that's important or on maintenance. So following up to that, we just got a draft form. We're going back and forth right now with the company on creating a draft of what this is going to look like. And what I want to say is that it's going to make the veterans who came to us very happy because, number one, there is an ADA accessible access point just on the south side of City Hall, right next to City Hall, that is very wide, very large. A car can even drive up on it if need be, if we have to, if we want to get a veteran to that point. All of the spots where I park right now, which are just outside of the doors here, all of them are going to be designated for veterans only. So a veteran can pull up to that lot 24/7, all year long, and they can face that memorial from their vehicle if they don't want to get out. That is so important. That is so incredibly important. And when we've been sharing this information, that was one of the things that actually brought a tear to one of the veterans' eyes because he said, I can finally come there 24/7. I don't even have to get out of my car. This is great. But when I feel like I need the time, I can pull up. And I said, yes, you can. Nobody's going to park there except for veterans. That was huge to them. So the access point is taken care of. And so a lot of effort and time has been put into this. I know it's been contentious, Peace Memorial versus Veteran. I don't want to pin these two projects together, against each other. The Peace Memorial has a meaning. The Veterans Memorial is going to have a meaning. The DDA graciously donated money to preserve the Peace Memorial, which has been preserved. That fountain cannot work anymore. There's no point in dumping any more money into it. It is absolutely not going to be fixable unless we spend lots of money, right, Mike, into that. The other thing is that there's been questions about the library plaques. I haven't even gotten to the library plaques yet. The library plaques are in that library. It's not that they're not going to be considered. We just haven't gotten to that point yet. And actually, you know, we have to figure out how we're going to make sure if we bring these plaques in, everybody's recognized. We're probably going to get the finger pointed at us because we don't have every single veteran's name on there, but we're going to certainly do our best to try to get that information from our local veterans groups. But it's not that we're negating any portion of the project. It's not that we're negating anybody's feelings or wishes. We have to raise money for this. We've raised over $30,000 for it. We are going to start a patronicity grant online to try to raise, to match those dollars. But this takes time, and it's taken a lot of effort. And frankly, it's hurtful, I think, to the group that's been putting time into this to have accusations that we're not considering everybody's feelings, we're not considering the veterans. Nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. And I just wanted to clear that up tonight and say we're going to maintain both. We're going to make sure the veterans are honored. We're going to make sure that the Peace Memorial is maintained to the best of our ability. And I just want to, you know, to clear that up once and for all and say we've got a lot of work to do. The project's not done. But as soon as we have a clear draft, it will be shared with everybody. We just have some pieces that are still missing in it that we had to send it back to this group, who's doing it for a very nominal cost because of the fact that they know that they want more money to go into this. So these things, we don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend on engineers and people to make these designs. This is all coming from people who are trying to do the best that they can. So I appreciate that, but I'd also just hope that maybe this will put to rest any accusations that the city's not trying to do the right thing, because all we are trying to do is the right thing. So that'll end my discussion on that. Thank you for your time, and I'm sorry I went on a little bit longer, but it just needed to be clarified, I think. Lori, there was a question through the chair about recreational marijuana, if you, and when this council's going to take it up, if you'd like to address that.
Absolutely. So, so far, the council has opted out of recreational marijuana. It is something that we can look at again. Council member will just need to request that we put that on to discuss in January if that's the wish of council. We do have options that we can opt in, and we have been speaking with the city attorney, with the team, city attorney team, on what that would look like. But that would be something we would need to take up after the first of the year if that's the wish of council.
Okay, thanks, Lori. Mr. Mills, I see you're here this night. Do you have your sesquicentennial minute? This is your last one.
Yes.
What are you going to do in January? We'll invite you back.
Enjoy the meeting.
He's dedicated.
For the last sesquicentennial minute, I'm going to do a relatively brief history of Wayne. The site of Wayne was crossed by the Sauk Trail, and due to this, the area was visited by Potawatomi and French fur traders for years before permanent settlement. The first settler was George M. Johnson, who built a small log cabin on 80 acres of land in 1824. There is a state historical marker at that site. The cabin served as a tavern for travelers along the trail, by then known as the Chicago Road. The area soon became known as Johnson's Tavern, and after a few years, the tavern was sold to Stephen G. Simmons, who continued to operate the business until he murdered his wife while in a drunken rage. Simmons was arrested, taken to Detroit, where he was tried and hanged in September 24th, 1830. He became the last person to be executed in Michigan, as the territory abolished capital punishment shortly thereafter. In 1832, Ezra Derby bought the tavern and land from the Simmons heirs and began establishing a settlement. Derby built a sawmill, a store, a mill, a blacksmith shop, and the first frame dwelling. In 1834, a plat was recorded in Detroit with lots in a town square under the name Derby's Corners. In 1836, the name of the settlement was changed to Wayne, in honor of Revolutionary War General Anthony Wayne. Soon a small hamlet began to develop, which was accelerated by the arrival of the Michigan Central Railroad in 1838. The Chicago Road that ran through Wayne was paved with oak logs in 1850, becoming the Detroit and Saline Plank Road. In 1867, it was changed to its current name of Michigan Avenue. In 1869, Wayne was incorporated as a village with a population of about 800 people, and in 1960, Wayne officially incorporated as a city. Many major industries have located in the village over the years. The Proudian Glass Carriage Factory was the first, moving from Detroit in 1888. At that time, this made Wayne the largest carriage and sleigh producer in the country. In 1899, the Detroit Interurban Railroad, the streetcar system connecting Detroit to outlying towns, reached Wayne and ran until 1929. Ray Haroon, winner of the first Indianapolis 500, built the Haroon motor car in Wayne from 1916 to 1921. The Gottfredson truck was produced from 1924 to 27, and the Graham Page Car Company made vehicles in Wayne from 1928 to 1936. Stinson Aircraft was also located at the nearby Detroit Industrial Airport and produced small planes from 1926 to 1948. The Garwood Company built garbage trucks and hydraulic equipment from 1947 to 1972, and the Michigan Assembly Plant was built in 1957 by the Ford Motor Company. And as announced earlier, it will begin making the Broncos next year. Other major companies located in Wayne included Unistrut and Wayne Industries. The population and industrial production around Wayne significantly increased after World War II. Beginning in the late 1950s, Wayne began to consider a program of urban renewal for its residential and downtown areas. This would involve diverting Michigan Avenue into two one-way roads that would circle the town, easing traffic through the narrow downtown area, and rerouting Wayne Road with an S-curve through town. This was paired with federal money for urban renewal, and it was decided to tear down most of the historic downtown area for redevelopment. Between 1964 and 1972, 77 acres of homes, businesses, and buildings were leveled in central Wayne. Several entire streets were removed for the project. The reinvestment in businesses that the city hoped would come didn't materialize at the end of the project, and it took almost 40 years for the cleared area to be filled in with new buildings. In the 1970s and 80s, Wayne entered a bust period, having torn down most of its downtown in urban renewal. The city was in financial difficulties. The 1990s and early 2000s brought a boom period, however, with many new civic and community buildings and events. The city hosted an annual Wheel Fest to celebrate its automotive history. In 2006, downtown Wayne began to undergo a revitalization and growth program with the assistance of Andrews University's Urban Design Studio. Completed projects have included the new fire station on Wayne Road, the new police station on Michigan Avenue, and the new Department of Public Works on Forest. Also in 2006, the Downtown Development Authority launched several beautification projects, including streetscaping and parking lot improvements, and 3 city-owned hiking trails which border within the city. More recently, Wayne is a member of the Michigan Main Street Program, and that nonprofit entity aims to revitalize downtowns and has helped with several beautification projects in downtown Wayne and aims to attract new businesses. Thank you.
Thanks, John. I got one more. My report's not done, sir.
We're not done.
We're not done yet. I'm so sorry. My report's still going. Chief, I'm going to put you on the spot just real quick. So I don't know if anybody's noticed that handsome gentleman in the car on the screen. That's Zeke. And I know that not everybody's on Facebook or on Twitter, so Chief, would you just give just a 30-second update on Zeke? Because he has become a sensation.
So one of my main goals as police chief was to institute a wellness program at the police department. Law enforcement is a very stressful occupation. A lot of rewards, camaraderie, be able to help the public. But, you know, we deal with a lot of bad stuff over 25 years. So, you know, there's a lot of wellness training and things, but one thing we have up here is a therapy dog. So Zeke is a certified therapy dog that's at the police department most every day. He's gone through an extensive training and certification process, obedience testing, veterinary certification. Folks from the Therapy Dog Association came out and observed Zeke at the building, observed him in various facilities, hospitals, psychiatric facilities, things to observe his temperament. He received his official certification in the middle of November. And as many of you probably saw on Facebook, he's been interacting with officers and the citizens, and it's just been a big success. When Zeke walks into the room, just faces light up. We were at First Step this afternoon, turned over a donation to him, and just the folks there were so happy to see him. And it's just, it just warms my heart. It's just a great program, and City Manager Nasreen, we couldn't have done it without your support, so thank you.
Oh, anything for the dogs. I just want to clarify through the chair, if I may, that I want to thank Chief Strong because that not a dime came out of the city for this. Chief Strong paid for all the training for Zeke, so I just want to thank the chief for that as well.
Just to clarify, it's not going to cost the city a dime in the future. I'll continue to pay for everything related to the dog.
Thanks, Chief. I know that you've become a dog manager now in the sense that he has paparazzi, so. I just want to say to the council, to the staff, everybody, the citizens, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I look forward to 2020, and, you know, be safe, and I hope we have a prosperous new year. That'll conclude my report, Mayor.
Next item, public comments for matters not on the agenda. Pursuant to the Michigan Open Meetings Act and the enacted procedures and rules of the City Council, now is time for public comment. Any questions will not be answered this evening. but the appropriate person will make their best effort to respond by the next council meeting or as soon as possible, provided you state or leave your contact information with the city clerk.
Mr. Osborne.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. I have three things to mention here. Number one, the agenda for December the 3rd, 2019. Online, it's not recorded with the amendments to the agenda, so you cannot see what you had on the last agenda. It's not there at all. And you had many items on there that were amendments to the city charter, making resolutions. Brings me to number two, is likewise, I would like to request that maybe what you have finally decided to, for the city charter and what you want to place on the ballot, if you would consider placing that in the official newspaper so the citizens to view it. There's quite a few citizens that believe that this one vote that we have out there is going to change everything. Like I said 3 meetings ago now, today is the 8 o'clock official meeting on this agenda. Likewise, we have a choice. The third item goes to your pocketbook. I received my notice for my taxes, and on it said payment by March 2nd, $500. And on the bottom of it, it said payment by March 2nd, $500. Okay, so I put it aside and mark it. I'm going to pay you on March the 2nd. Lucky that the dog fell over and dropped the paper on the floor, and there was a lot of writing on the back. And on the back, the writing at the very top of your tax bills will say, if you don't pay it by February the 17th, you will be assessed a 3% penalty for being late and a 1% service charge. So that's 4% that you're going to be assessed if you don't pay it by February the 17th. And my plea to you is, I think when you actually want the money for our taxes should be on the very front sheet, not you've got it in reverse mode. It should say February the 17th on the very front, and that's where you don't get penalized at all. Okay, and then you can I don't know what, maybe it's a typographical area, but if people who have mortgages, they're just going to be rolled in and they won't notice it, but I pay mine in cash, okay? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. We'll have the administration look into that.
Yep, we will.
Like I said earlier, my name is Daniel Valdez. I live at 3850 Gloria, Wayne. I'm Senior Vice Commander of Post 251. I came to also to do a little bit of sorry for what I did last Tuesday. I thought I wouldn't come across that bad myself. I was just trying to take care of a project that was assigned to me concerning the Peace Memorial. I'm also, Post is giving away a scooter for any veteran in Wayne that is in dire need of a scooter. Just, you have my phone number, Mr. Racy. As soon as he has to have DD-214 for proof, and it'll be given to him free of charge. You can do whatever he wants with it. Another thing, things work in the American Legion just like you guys do your meeting. Commander, he starts with the gavel, starts the meeting, and it's taken on. He says his comments, then to me, Senior Vice Commander, and on down to each officer. Father reports. The report for the Peace Memorial was my project. I made arrangements for you, 2 months, never got a call. Made arrangements for you here, not a call from you. I had to hear it from my commander and the secretary about my project that I put up here on Tuesday. It's my project. Any one of you have a question or anything on concerning the Peace Memorial, you need to call me. That's the way it works. You don't go to commander, secretary, my project. All I'm asking today is what you want. According to Lori, we're gonna meet up sometime. We're gonna meet up and figure out about the Peace Memorial, where it's going, what's gonna happen with it. As far as the veterans that you talked to or seen or whatever, there are other veterans that feel opposite of what you come up with. They're concerned more about that Peace Memorial. If you need thousands of dollars to put into this project, I mean, thousands of dollars to fix that problem, you're getting thousands of dollars to do that one. Now, is that going to be considered a Wayne Memorial, or is it going to be considered a Canton Memorial? Okay? So a lot of people are going to be asking that question. So it took another city to come in here and put a Wayne project in here. I agree, my heart for you guys for doing this, okay? But the veterans that are complaining about that Peace Memorial are not going to see it the same way. They're going to see it as Canton Memorial, okay? As far as that's concerned, my meeting's over with. Like I said, if you need to call me, appreciate it very much. If I make a deal with you, you call me back, not your counsel, okay?
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, Jody Wallach, the library director. I just wanted to share a couple good pieces of news from the library. One, thanks to the Friends of the Library, our fireplace is now repaired, so we have a nice cozy reading area with a roaring fire just in time for the winter. Second, we have just replaced or upgraded all of our computers. So from the library's budget, we purchased 10 new staff computers and upgraded, I believe, 14 staff and public computers. And then thanks to a grant through the Wayne Rotary, we were able to replace 6 additional adult public computers. So all of our computers are now running Windows 10 and are equipped with Office 2019. So it's a big step up from what we had before. And finally, I just wanted to share, if you have some gift wrapping to do coming up, which I suspect a lot of people may, this Thursday at the library, drop by anytime from 5 to 7 p.m. We have a gift wrapping night. We have all the paper, tape, bows that you might need. Just bring your own presents, and you can get all your wrapping done in one fell swoop. Thanks.
Thanks.
Yes, I'd like to thank the city administration, the DPW, police and fire departments for their support and participation in the holiday night at the museum. It was another wonderful event in downtown Wayne, held a few Saturdays ago. We had a lot of support. I would also like to thank the St. Joseph Catholic School Choir, the St. Michael Lutheran School Choir, the I-Town Barbershop Chorus, and the Strolling Carols, and that for providing musical entertainment, not to mention the marching band and the Wayne and Franklin Chorus, and Village Dance who performed prior to the museum opening. Thanks for everybody who attended, and shame on those if you did not. And that, again, will be the first Saturday next year, and please come by again. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Ray?
I just wanted to say hello. My name is Ray. I work in Community Living Services. I'm in Wayne. I'm a big advocate. Comes down to people, and Lisa did a good job tonight because with people with disabilities, and a lot of times get shoved beneath the rug. You know, everybody has something, and I think it's very important that we have that, because one day we all might need that. You know, you can drive your car up, and I'm gonna bring that back to Westline, hope they have something like that, because that's kind of good in a way. And I've had a real busy year. Ray of Hope, video of my life, Ambassadors Program, we got 25 people, and next year, I'm coming back in here and doing a presentation. Talked to Fire Department in Wayne already, Westland. I'm taking mental health to the road because it's important. Because mental health, if we catch it early, you can help people. And sometimes we don't want to make it look like it's a shame because sometimes people need help. And I'm going to keep bringing that up. If the mental health helped me in my life, we can help other people. I want to say, I want to meet this dog one day too. And get a picture taken with it. And I want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy New Year. And you know, one last word I want to say tonight. Let's be kind to one another, even police officers, because they put their lives and fire department out there. Say thank you to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Stan?
Good evening, City Council, Mayor, everyone. My name is Stan Shelton, the Wayne Chamber of Commerce, and I just wanted to say I've met Zeke, had my picture taken with. He's a sweet dog. And Ray, I might need some of that mental health help. I don't know, you know, somebody. But anyway, the chamber, with the help and support of people sitting here, we are closing out the 2019 year on a positive note. We raised a little bit visibility. That was my first goal, raise the visibility of the chamber. And it is working, and I really appreciate the support. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Mr. Miller?
Yep, Chris Miller, Wayne. I have to disagree with Mr. Valdez on it's going to look like a Canton project. I worked hard with the committee on this project. We take donations from everybody, not just people in Canton, Wayne, Westland. We take them from everywhere. I mean, if we just looked at taking donations from Wayne, we would never get anywhere. We got to open up to other people to get donations for this project. And that Peace Memorial, I don't know if he understands, it would be over 100,000 just to tear it down, and we'd have nothing. Okay, so we need to take donations from anybody that we get them from. I don't care if they come from China. The Veterans Memorial means one thing, where it don't matter where it comes from. It has one meaning. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, go ahead and move the agenda.
I fell asleep on the job here. I'm just listening to everybody not paying attention. I apologize. Next item on the agenda, item 10, items for next agenda.
Mayor Racy, I wasn't going to bring it up tonight, but the invitation was extended. I would like for us to have that discussion on opting in or opting out. I think that it sounds to me like the administration is prepared to have that discussion.
Well, we've already opted out.
Yes.
Matter of whether we want to opt in.
So you mean you
Yes.
want to look at opting in?
That's
What that would
correct.
look like?
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Anybody else? I've got one thing, and I would normally just let the city manager know, but I think it'd be good to tell everybody about this anyway. I'd like to do a resolution for Martin Luther King Day this year, that we have that done. We've been asked to join with Westland this year. They've been doing, for the last 5 or 6 years, a Martin Luther King event, and they've asked to have Wayne be part of it because we don't have the ability to have a Martin Luther King Day here, and they've asked us to have a Wayne pastor involved, a Wayne choir involved. So we're going to look at how we can partner on that event with them, and I'd like to have a resolution in support of Martin Luther King Day from our council. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Yes.
Next item, item 11, consent calendar. You have 2 items before you. Item A, minutes of the November 13th Wayne Housing Commission meeting, December 10th minutes of the Wayne Board of Review. Wish of council?
Receive and file.
We need to make a motion.
Motion. Move to, support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item, comments from members of the city council.
Okay. Councilman Dowd?
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing much. I do want to say it was truly wonderful to be at the museum, to be in the environment, and to just see everybody enjoying the life, the activity that was going on. I can't wait till next year, and hopefully we can build on this and make a summer event that compounds it to that equal. With that, I just want to wish everybody a safe and happy holidays and Merry Christmas. And with that, I'll pass.
Okay. Councilman Miller?
Thank you, Mayor Racy. I would first like to say welcome to Kent Woody. I saw a very young man here tonight, that put on himself a direction of really important responsibility, excuse me, as a police officer. I commend him, and I ask this in the community, and I know our city associates as well will give him 100% support and mentoring in the field of his choice. So welcome aboard, Officer Woody. Secondarily, and I know this has been spoken about quite a bit, the big investment that Ford has announced. History is now, once again, in the making. This investment is going to provide another additional two new vehicles, the Bronco and the Ranger, but most importantly, it's another footmark in Wayne, as Mr. Mills indicated, the long history that we do have in this community of autonomous vehicles being produced here in our community. Also, I want to state that tonight's the last night of this decade of this council meeting. And, I think it's a good time for us to reflect on the challenges that we had, the successes that we've had. I can say personally that we're moving in the right direction. We have turned a page in this community. We're starting to see evidence of those turning of that page start to show signs of in our downtown, in our neighborhoods. Yes, they're little signs, but they are signs that we didn't have before. This past decade has been a tumultuous one for this community. If there's any one word that I could add to that seal of our city is the word resilience. And that's what this community has, resilience. And I couldn't be more prouder to be part of this community because of that. Lastly, it's my hope that on Christmas Day, I will be thinking of everybody in this community, the city associates, the city council, the residents. My hope is that the spirit of Christmas will be in your hearts and carry through into the new year for us to continue on the prosperity of this community. And with that, I will end.
Councilwoman Skiff.
Thank you. I also had the privilege of attending the holidays at the museum, our holiday event, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I want to thank all those who made it happen, and thank all those for coming out. It was a great attendance, and everybody seemed to be having a great time. So just wanted to thank all those who made that happen and look forward to the event again next year. I also wanted to welcome Kent Woody to our police department. And my hope for him is that his experience in serving our community will prove to be as fulfilling as he hoped it would be and more. So, and as Councilman Miller said, he was quite a young gentleman. So it's very encouraging to see the next generation stepping up and making their way in the world and making a difference. So, again, Councilman Miller's Spirit of Christmas, I thought I would share. I was hoping the meeting would not be this late, so I kind of did want to share a little story with everybody that does talk about the spirit of Christmas and how and Councilman Miller, you said it extending into the next year. Surprisingly, my comments tonight also talk a little bit about that. So I just wanted, I was going through the internet and I found this story about the Christmas truce of 1914. I'm sure some of you in this room will probably have more of the facts and be able to tell this story better than I do, but I just wrote down some things about it that I wanted to share. So the Christmas truce actually began Christmas Eve, 1914, according to diaries from soldiers around 8:30 p.m. What had happened was it was during World War I, and there were soldiers there from Germany, Belgium, and also French soldiers. And what they had did on Christmas Eve is they began to sing Christmas carols. And when this happened, at first everybody was very weary because they weren't, they started sending messages back and forth to one another, basically saying, wishing everybody a Merry Christmas. And at first they thought it was a trick, and they did, but they couldn't help themselves because it was Christmas Eve to say Merry Christmas back, and they started communicating back and forth. And what happened is they began to sing Christmas carols. It first started in the trenches of the Germans, and then I believe in the trenches of those the other trenches in the British to follow. So what ended up happening is it carried on into the next day, and when they woke up, the German soldiers had come out of their trenches and started wishing everybody in English a Merry Christmas. And again, at first everybody was very leery of the gesture. They thought it was a trick. But eventually, everybody started to come out of their trenches, and this event allowed them to, let me just open my notes. So what had happened is they began to converse with one another, and they were able to exchange gifts of cigarettes, food, buttons, and hats. And it also allowed both sides to bury their dead comrades whose bodies had lain for weeks on the ground between the trenches. And also it was very early in the war, and it was their first Christmas during the war, during World War I. It is also believed that men shared a game of what we call soccer, but what they call football. There was a quote from a gentleman, his name was Murdoch M. Wood, speaking of the event in 1930, said that he came to he was a soldier at the event, that he had come to the conclusion that he held very firmly ever since, that if we had been left to ourselves, there would have never been another shot fired. And so as we go into this Christmas season and the following year, the Christmas season is a time when we remember the birth of the Savior of the world. It is my hope that that despite our disagreements and differences, that maybe, just maybe, we too in our city can set aside our differences and disagreements and show kindness to one another, and put, a truce, I guess you can say, here in our city. The event was marked, there had been no other place during the war that had happened. And I guess it's my hope that as we go into the following year, the next year, 2020, everybody knows we're moving into an election year, and everybody knows what those can look like. I guess it's my hope that that we're able, despite our differences and disagreements, to treat one another with respect and kindness. And we can still have our disagreements, and we don't have to think like one another or agree with one another. But maybe, just maybe, we can put our little city on the map, just as these soldiers did to one another from different countries and different languages. that we as neighbors and fellow countrymen can put our differences aside and set an example to the rest of our country. And that is my hope for us. And with that, I will close. Thank you.
Amen.
Councilman Webster.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm thinking about all the great things that are going on in the city right now, and it gives you a lot of perspective of the things that happened in the last 10 years in the city, and all the times that I think we were very much divided. But as we kind of close out this year and we close out the decade, you look at all the great things going on. Chief, your department's closing on a very high note. You have Zeke, you have a new officer, you're gonna get your heating and cooling fixed. You know, we move into this year and I look around at all our leadership, our city manager, economic development, police department, fire department, DPW, building engineering. We have a lot of great people that are in positions to help us succeed. So, you know, I go into this next year and this next decade feeling very hopeful for what the city can do and what we can do as a community. So I just wanted to kind of share that because I think sometimes we like to lean towards all the negativity that goes on in the world. And Kelly, you said it great. You know, we need to stop looking at the differences and start looking at our commonalities, what we share, and not put each other down, but, you know, bring each other together. So with that, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I look forward to seeing you all in the new year, and let's get some stuff done.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me. Some in our community will be having a dinner at the Wayne Towers this Saturday, the 21st. The food, anybody that's supplying food, it needs to be there at 1:15 to 1:30. The dinner starts at 2. If anyone wishes to donate their time, we can still use some help. All we need right now is just some desserts. They seem to be a big hit on desserts. Everything else was donated by the community and by businesses here in our city, so we're in pretty good shape. If you need to talk to someone about it and you wish to donate some time, talk to Lenny Powell, Christy Powell, or Felicia Powell. They're spearheading this as usual. There was some great news at Ford Motor Company and UAW Local 900 bringing more work to our city, and that's a big plus for us. I really appreciate their work and being a retiree of Local 900. I know that the union and the Ford Motor Company work hand in hand at the facility out here, so it is a joint effort. I said to Councilman Dowd when Patrolman Woody was sworn in, it makes you feel old when you realize the new patrolman's younger than your grandson. So with that, I'm going to say Merry Christmas to everybody, Happy New Year, be safe, and let's hit it again next year, harder this time. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a few things tonight that I wanted to just touch real quickly. I wanted to thank Hillcrest Church for their donations for the event at the museum, along with Historical Society and the DDA. Those were big helps to make this event happen. I don't know if people realize that Hillcrest donated toys, and every kid that came left with a very nice toy. It wasn't something at the dollar store. It was definitely something that was well thought out and very, very genuine, and they've been a tremendous asset added into our community this last year. They just celebrated 1 year in the community, and they've really stepped up to make a difference and show what they're all about. And I appreciate what they're doing in our community. And it was great that we were able to give a little precursor at that event about the Ford investment, that what they were doing, and I'm very excited about the Bronco and the other things that they're going to be doing over at the plant. It's definitely good signs for our city and our business community. It was a very busy evening that night. We had a Goodfellows event that was very successful. I haven't heard the total of what they raised, but it was packed. There was probably about 500 people at that event, and it was very, very nice. And then over the weekend, I got to go by the US 12, and they were doing a Toys for Tots fundraiser, and they hit it out of the park with the amount of toys that they had people in the community and surrounding communities provide, and had a few $1,000s or more that they went shopping last night and bought even more stuff. So they did just a phenomenal job over there making that happen. Had a great time at the Wayne Chamber luncheon about a week ago. I see very definite improvements happening in our chamber, very optimistic at the direction that our chamber's going, and I thank Stan and his board for stepping up and moving us forward with that. Had a meeting today even with the champions of Wayne, and there's a lot of great things in 2020 going to be happening for them with what they're doing. And yesterday I was at the Beaumont Mental Health Hospital groundbreaking. I was invited to be out there for that, and that's a very good thing for our region that's going on with that. And I'm going to share a little bit of news early, but the breast care center that they've been raising funds for is funded, and that's going to be coming out here shortly. They are still working on getting the funding for the equipment inside that, but we should be seeing an announcement of that in the near future. But that's another very positive thing, that they're going to be able to have a better quality of service for people that are dealing with breast cancer, because it's not at the level that should be, and it'll be a very big impact on our community. Wanted to thank the library for hosting Phil Cousineau about a week ago or so. Great guy. Got a chance to sit down with him. He's very connected to different people. He's an author from San Francisco that was in town, and look forward to seeing what he wants to help out in our community now. And I know he's from a distance, but you just don't know. There's a lot of people that love our community all over this country, and let's see what we can do when everybody comes together. And there may be things that there are people that have left still love this city, and it's time that we start reaching out to those people and trying to bring back some of that magic that the city, that people talk about, and see what we can do with that. Something that is kind of cool, if people have like a Roku or are on YouTube, that on your television, you can actually get YouTube on your television, and all the meetings, you can actually see them on your television. So it's more than just your computer, that you can actually pull that up on your smart television and be able to just scroll through and be able to pick a meeting, which I find very much better than it used to be. So if you're interested in past meetings, that's a great resource. And as we're getting ready to get into 2020, it seems like this meeting's going till 2020, but
We might end up in 2020.
I just want to thank our staff. We have great staff, and everybody that's contributed to make this in 2019, to make this a great year for our community. There's a lot of positive things that people should be looking for. Let's focus on the positive things. There is positive, and we all can find the negative. It's very easy to do that. But if we just focus on those positives like our staff is doing on a daily basis, we can make a huge difference in 2020. And with that, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Motion adjourned.
Yes.
Support, Dowd.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.